Okay, so in this video, we will discuss about types of site surveys. Okay, so there are two types of site surveys which can be done. One is pre-deployment, the other is post-deployment. Okay, so the base of every good Wi-Fi network has to be a good site survey. If the base is set right, then yes, we can build on top of that. You can give all the cool features in the Wi-Fi product, or you can give all the cool features in the Wi-Fi controller or a dashboard that you run. But if the design is not done properly, you'll always struggle. It's like we need to spend good amount of time on the design so that we can escape all the tedious troubleshooting later on. If you do not spend good enough time on the design, then you're going to spend ample number of hours troubleshooting the Wi-Fi network, and that's going to be very bad because it's going to cost you a lot of time and a lot of money. So do things the right way. Get a Wi-Fi site server done before you deploy a network, and that's going to make your life extremely easy. Anyway, so pre-deployment is, we can further divide them into pre-deployment different types. One is predictive analysis, right? Which we do in the Wi-Fi site server tools, or the other one is the AP on a stick. Predictive analysis is the one that can be done remotely. You don't need to be on the site to do this. AP on a stick needs to be an on-site Wi-Fi site survey. Okay, you have to be there. You have to have the tools, the kit ready to do an AP on a stick for a pre-deployment. Now this takes less time, and this is time consuming. Okay, this is less accurate. Okay, and this is of course more accurate. This is pre-deployment. Now post-deployment, again there are two types of post-deployment surveys. One is the passive survey, the other is the active survey. Okay, so passive survey, this is done on site. Active survey is also done on site because these are post deployment survey. They both take pretty much the same time, so it's not a differentiation there, I would say. And passive survey is done for a different purpose. Active survey has a different purpose altogether. So if you have a network deployed, you need to really know what kind of things you're trying to solve with that survey, right? If the customer asks you and tells you, we need a site survey to be done, you got to ask him if there's any problem going on in the network. Okay, passive surveys are done to solve some coverage problems. Let's say if I'm seeing a black hole or a dead zone somewhere, or the clients are not receiving good enough coverage in the area, then you go ahead with the passive site survey, where you just I'll talk about how this is done and what data we capture in this. But yeah, any coverage problem needs to be solved from a passive survey. If you are doing an active survey on the ground, it simply means that you're trying to solve connectivity problems, connectivity issues, roaming issues, anything that comes to the client connection to the AP, or let's say lag in the network or drops, packet drops. All these things are solved by an active survey. So we need to know why we are going on site to do a survey. If we are not sure of the issues that are going on in the network, we cannot do the right survey. So it's going to be a waste of time. So my ask is, if a customer tells you to do a survey, You ask him what is the problem, get his feedback, understand from him, spend some time and gather information more about the network, and then commit to something, right? So pre-deployment, post-deployment, predictive survey, AP on a stick, passive survey, active survey. Three of them are done on site. That is AP on a stick, passive, active. They're all done on site. And yeah, for predictive or a pre-deployment, when the APs are not deployed, when we are trying to understand the right locations for the AP, predictive is less. Happens in less time. AP on a stick is very time consuming. And again, predictive is like less accurate for sure. But AP on a stick is more accurate. However, the cost associated to predictive is really less as compared to the cost associated to AP on a stick. Okay, so this is less costly, this is more costly. So what usually happens is, I had to discuss this in the later video, but I'll just mention this small thing for you. Uh, if it is less costly and less accurate, most customers prefer this because they also have something called radio resource management running vendor uh, in the vendor platform, which is like radio resource management, which takes care of some issues around coverage hole and the power of the APs, and a little bit, it can tweak and make the network better. So instead of spending a lot of money on AP on a stick, a lot of customers, or I would say most of them, prefer a predictive analysis, and then so that they can use RRM on top of that and make sure the network is fine, right? But for a post deployment, yeah, we need to understand what's the issue we're trying to solve, so that we can go down and do the right kind of survey. Thank you.